So I put a couple of pictures up on the IMDb page just to make it look a little bit more lively, and before I knew it, it had gone viral.
Everyone seen it and was like, sorry, what's this? I had the same reaction when I seen it.
I was on set of another movie, a Vikings movie, with no other than the actor that plays Piglet, Chris Cordell. We went back to our phones after filming and we were blowing up. We were like, what is going on?
Funnily enough, I was actually asleep because the essentially it was the US which went crazy about it, and you know the time zone differences. So yeah, I got woken up about 3 a.m. or so, and it was like, you know, check your phone, and I looked on it and it was like Variety, Rolling Stones, like Hollywood Reporter, like millions of views on like Twitter, like just everywhere.
I loaded Twitter and I saw all of these tweets about Winnie the Pooh and it just gone nuts.
I woke up in the morning, I'd gained something ridiculous like 4,000 followers on Instagram overnight, and I was like, what's happened? I'd not like checked my DMs or anything. Anyway, I'm scrolling down the wall and I see Winnie the Pooh and I was like, oh, we're making one of them. Hang on a minute.
We had such a journey together, like we never thought this was going to happen.
And I thought, oh, holy shit, like we better get back to set. Because like I thought the world's going to see this now. It's kind of a completely different audience to what we initially imagined.
And it just gone incredibly viral, and then in the morning Rhys was getting all these interview requests, and
yeah, the next day I was doing like a crazy number of like interviews. I had like requests coming in from everywhere, and I was just like so overwhelmed with it.
And we have a film that is going viral, but the film was made in 7 days on £20,000. And we thought, what do we do now?
We thought it was going to go to like a bit of a VOD DVD market, and thought it'd do well, but yeah, then it was suddenly getting pushed towards like a theatrical route, which is what it kind of never intended to be.
So the next stage was to try and beg for more money. So we went back to the investors. Myself and Rhys invested 50% of the money, but we had some investors that actually also put the other 50% in. And I went back to them and I said, please, can we just up the budget? Can we go back and do some additional photography, all this kind of stuff?
Where we wanted to add in some more scenes, and make it kind of more cinematic after we realised, you know, the world's going to watch this. And that we ended up having a budget. The total budget was about £50,000 in the end. And the total shoot length after that would have been about 12 days in total, roughly. So obviously it's like a crazy tight time frame. And the way we had to achieve this was like, you know, wearing multiple hats and doing like multiple jobs on set. So, you know, like not only would I be kind of like directing and producing, you know, I'd be doing the drones. We would have like my cinematographer, he would occasionally be doing the kind of like the focus pulling, and yeah, it was really manic.
70% of the movie you do see in the final cut, that was what was made on £20,000. So when people say we want more of that, more of this, it's like, you know, it was made on £20,000.
Shoot was actually split across, I think it ended up being like 4 periods. We had like the principal photography, which was like on £20,000. We had a crew of 8 people, and we shot it over about 8 days, which is super like limiting, and it's a super small team. Most people are kind of used to micro budget being like 250. Yeah, we didn't have that.
Rhys, his original concept for Pooh was so much darker, but yeah, our co-investors weren't happy about that really dark version of it, and they suggested that it should be kind of run more of like a typical formula for slashers, and it should follow like some girls in a cabin and all this kind of stuff. So we ended up doing that.
One thing was making Pooh scary was almost impossible. There's a few moments in the film where I did want to take him down a scary route. So for example, when he has those memories of Christopher Robin and then we crash back to him kind of looking down the lens of the camera, I wanted that to be scary. On all other periods, and like scenes, it's mostly just gone for a kind of like fun and silly route. If you listen and watch the behind the scenes and bloopers, you'll see the whole crew were just constantly in hysterics watching Pooh run around the forest after Maria and Jessica.
The death scene was probably my most memorable moment. It was super cold and it was super wet, but everyone kind of like banded together to help out, and although it was really physically draining, it could have been 10 times worse. I had members of the crew, members of the cast coming over. Every time they yelled cut, they like lifted my head and put a pillow under my head and covered me over and was like, are you okay? Can we do anything? And everyone was so kind.
A lot of people don't know, but Christopher Robin actually originally died in the opening sequence. And we wanted to bring Christopher back. That was the main thing. In the additional photography, we rewrote a load of scenes. Some of it was character development. We kind of removed some of that and we replaced it with Christopher Robin, so that he was, you know, throughout the whole film. It did become a bit of a Frankenstein project. You know, we did kind of do the additional photography. I think we did three sets. The ending before was really anticlimactic. The girls ran through the woods and they got in the back of a truck, very winky to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and Winnie the Pooh swinging a hammer, and it just cuts to black. We reshot that, and we had the guys that come out the truck, and they kind of faced off against Pooh, all got killed, and that was our wink towards Halloween Kills, because we absolutely love the end scene where Michael just goes nuts and kills.
The tone of the movie is very kind of like fun, satire, like silly. Like, it shouldn't be taken in a really serious sense, you know. There's scenes where people kind of refer to Pooh as like a fat git and stuff. Like, it's all meant to just be really light-hearted, and just embrace it for what it is. It's Winnie the Pooh with a knife, and just go in there, have fun, and just laugh.
One of them is a murderous bear, and one of them's a little tiny, cute teddy bear.
I mean, come on, it's a million miles away from the original Winnie the Pooh. I don't think we need to get the two confused. You've got the fluffy one, the one everyone loves and knows, and then you've got the sadistic killer one. It's a horror movie. They're totally different.
And then Winnie the Pooh came in public domain, and I saw it on, I think, Twitter, and I just jumped on it. I thought this could be really good. Me and Rhys, the director, he produces and directs loads of films with me. We thought it was a really, really unique idea. And we thought, you know, you could go down this like really typical route of it being this little teddy bear or whatever. That's why we thought, let's make him like a Jason Voorhees. Like, you know, me and Rhys are such big fans of like Jason and Freddy and Ghostface and all this, and we were like, what if we could create something that could just keep coming back, and you could put them in different situations if anyone watched it. Like, you know, in my mind, no one was really going to watch it.
I'd not had any feature film experience up until the point of doing Winnie the Pooh, so this was my first ever feature film, really. I'd done little extra roles and stuff, but this was my first ever doing a feature film, I guess. I found it online and I seen it and I was like, I have to do this, I have to apply. I said yes, they wanted like a self-tape, which is if you don't act. A self-tape is kind of, they'll send you like a page of the script and you'll act it out as if you're there, and then you'll send it back. Like a at-home audition, I guess. And I did that, and then I'd originally applied for a different role, I think. And then obviously when they came back to me, they said, we have this one, what we think you'll be really good for.
Well, I have worked with Jagged Edge quite a few times prior to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Scott and Rhys offered me this role, and they said, we've got this this position. It's somebody who gets mauled by Piglet in Winnie the Pooh. I was like, what? You're doing a movie about Winnie the Pooh? Okay, this sounds crazy. Tell me more, tell me more. And they're like, yes, you've been getting mauled by him, lots of bad stuff has happened, and you know, he keeps mauling you and then putting honey on you, letting the wounds heal and mauling you again. And I was like, okay, yes, let's do it. Because I've done lots of horror films with them and lots of death scenes, so I think they must have just enjoyed the way I died and thought, let's do a different way. So that's how I got the role. I've just worked with the guys lots of times before, and luckily they offered me the role of Charlene. Happy days.
So I have this thing with movies where I don't like to read the full script because I don't like to know what's going on if I don't need to know it as a character.
Let me just tell you, from when I was filming and the script I had, there was so many changes until it actually got released, and I didn't see it, didn't know it, didn't read it.
So when I watched it and Maria died, I was super shocked with that. And then Pooh spoke. I'd probably say those were my most shocking moments.
Yeah, what we wanted was, you know, this expectation to be that the girl will get away, and she always does, but actually to flip it on its head and not have a final girl, have a final boy. So yeah, actually we rewrote it, and she died in the final version of the movie. And it was meant to be Pooh's kind of like way of saying to Christopher Robin, you know, I will never stop.
The final girl? There was no final girl. Maria gets killed. Winnie kills Maria. We have a final boy. I mean, I was pretty shocked at that.
I remember when we were filming the end of the movie with the car explosion, it was quite possibly one of the most stressful things I've ever shot in my life. The weather, I don't know if you can see in the background, the trees are literally like this. The wind was horrendous. The morning of the shoot, we had the guys that were going to explode the car for us. They were saying to us, you know, I don't think you should do this. The weather conditions are too bad. It was absolutely pissing it down with rain. Me and Rhys were panicking. We'd just got off a night shoot. I think we'd finished filming about 6 in the morning, and this phone call was happening about 9 in the morning, so we had had no sleep. This was the last day of our additional photography. We were getting this call basically saying, you know, don't shoot it, don't do it, because we're gonna get there, we're not gonna be able to shoot it, and we'll still want paying. And this was a lot of our budget. Like we put a lot of our budget into the car explosion. We wanted this big climactic ending and all this kind of stuff. And me and Rhys were kind of saying to each other, what do we do, what do we do? Like, you know, this is our last day of additional photography. It was October, the film was coming out in January. We were already cutting it so close. We really needed to make sure this got filmed, and we just said, we've got to risk it, let's just do it. Thankfully, we were able to film it. And I can't tell you the stress, the actual stress we went through, just in experiencing trying to get the bloody thing done. If you look, there's a bit in the car, because we were shooting out of order, mostly because of the car. Once it was on fire, we had to shoot all of the scenes by that car before the fire went, and we couldn't film anymore, you know, with that in the backdrop. So if you look at the main actress in the car, there's a scene where she's in the front of the car and she's reacting to what Pooh's doing, and you can see her hair is soaking and it's got this like weird clay in it, and it's because she'd already filmed the scenes where she'd fell on the floor in front of the car, and it was raining so bad that her hair was covered, you know, it was dripping wet. But not only that, the floor was this like charcoal on the floor, but it turned into like this clay, this like paste, and it's in her hair, and you can see it, and I felt so bad for her. The gazebo she was in, the actors would, you know, kind of wait in their holding area, was basically getting blown away in the wind. It was bloody awful, honestly. But anyway, we shot it and I'm happy with it.
It's been the most amazing experience ever, but I would definitely say my fondest moments of all of this have been making the friends that I've made. I've made so many friends, and people that I would never have known if it wasn't for Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh 2 is going to be, I believe, 5 times the budget, so it's incredibly exciting for us because we've always worked on so little, so that us having 5 times the budget, I truly feel like we can really show what we can do. Like for us, it's going to be like having £1 million.
So this is all really early stages, because I'm kind of like bouncing ideas with people now, so everything's subject to change. But we've taken a lot of feedback from the first film. Everyone said, you know, we'd love more of this, we'd want the tone to go this way, we would want, you know, scenes doing X, Y, and Z, and all of that's been kind of like accumulated, and I've kind of selected the ones which I think make the most sense and going to be best for the story overall, and that's going to include new characters. So obviously in the first one you only see kind of Pooh and Piglet, but it is kind of hinted at that the other characters are there. The only reason we didn't really like put them in the first film was more budgetary reasons, because it's like every single character you introduced there was like about at minimum another £1,000, and we just didn't have the money. However, we do now. So yeah, we were going to be seeing kind of the likes of Owl and Tigger. Tigger becomes in the public domain in January 2024, so he's going to be on the way, which is really exciting. There's going to be tons more death. We're going to keep things very practical in terms of all the kind of like horror scenes, the, you know, the head smashes and stuff, rather than going down a VFX route. There's going to be new design for Pooh as well. I love the mask from the first film, but the problem is it's very almost obvious that it's a mask because there's no kind of like movement, and we tried to digitally do that afterwards, but it kind of wasn't exactly how I wanted. So instead we're going down a prosthetics route now, and that will really just add so much to it. You'll be able to see more facial movement, there'll be more kind of expression, and it will just add a lot more to like the horror of the character, and also I want it to kind of go down a tone which is a bit more serious and a bit more horror wise, and it's a bit more horrific, I mean. However, keep the fun of like all of the death scenes and such. So maybe the tone would be a little bit more comparable to like Chucky than say Halloween or so. But yeah, that's going to come. And likewise, I was saying, yeah, a more serious tone. And there's going to be tons of really fun deaths. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Thank you to anyone watching our film and supporting us, because it really means a lot, and getting to that next level is extremely difficult. You know, we're two British filmmakers with no connections to the industry. We've like forced our way into it, and it's just such an exciting time, and I hope people will continue to love where the Pooh adventures are going to go. This film has been a brilliant gateway to just exciting stuff for us, and we're incredibly grateful.
I hope you liked it. I hope you, if you didn't like it, I hope you just laughed. I hope everybody got a laugh. I hope everybody had fun. And
yeah, if you're watching this, thank you so much for buying the DVD, and I really hope you enjoyed the film.